Good morning. We are here at the Alaska Anchorage Railway Station. And what's great about this is we're returning to finish a trip that we started 2 years ago. We're taking the Alaska Railroad all the way from Anchorage down to Seward on the Kenai Peninsula. And when we did this a few years ago, we did it all the way from Fairbanks in the winter with a couple of stops along the way to Anchorage. This is a historic, beautiful railroad and quite empty in the winter. But in the summer, as you can see by this crowd, it is crazy. Come on everybody, hop aboard and let's ride the snow train. When they say getting there is half the fun, when it comes to the Alaska Railroad, the trip can be all the fun. And we've got a lot of fun to come, but this is such a perfect appetizer. Being on this train, it feels so vintage and cool, and we have these incredible cars where you have dome cars like we had in Canada, and these dining cars with pretty nice food and drinks. It just feels like such a retro experience, and this trip is really fun because this part of the journey generally operates mostly in the summer months because this is really geared to people going down to the Kenai Peninsula and particularly going down to the cruise ships. Wow, the geography, topography, and beauty of our Alaska road trip from Anchorage down the Kenai Peninsula just staggers the mind and the eye. It's just something to behold.
beginning to see the Spencer Glacier. Again, out our left-hand side, right at our 9 o'clock position.
Run away with me, and I'll be good this time around. say we're drifting apart. I can't stand to see you with
We're on a train in Alaska going to Seward.
You know why it's named Seward, right?
Why?
Because it was the Secretary of State who signed off on the purchase of Alaska. And it was called Seward's Folly because everybody thought it was a joke. And look what we have here. We actually have...
More people.
Welcome to Seward! Let's go have a good time!
Yeah.
Welcome to Seward, Alaska. Thank you so much for riding with the Alaska Railroad today.
Thank you. Okay, welcome to Seward, the gateway to the Kenai Peninsula and Kenai Fjords National Park, where glaciers flow from the hardy ice field into coastal fjords.
Say it loud. I wanna love and I want it now. Fake it away.
Surrounded by peaks, the fjords are a whale and porpoise habitat. Now, this quirky town is celebrating its 120th birthday, and it posts something pretty cool, the northernmost deep water port in the United States. This port never freezes, and it's also big for cruise ships, and while it never freezes, it sure feels like that today. So here we are hiking the shockingly retreating Exit Glacier as these year markers spread throughout the park where the glacier once was, where the ice field has retreated. That's what these indicate. Now, a mile outside the park are markers from 1950, and on the road outside the gates, they go all the way back to the early 1900s. So if you don't believe in climate change, then this might change your mind. Exit Glacier is a glacier derived from the hardening ice field in the Kenai Mountains of Alaska and one of Kenai Fjords National Park's major attractions just outside of Seward. And you can see how very little of it's left. Seward has a major outsized importance that is bigger than its small 2,000-year round population. The city is named for former United States Secretary of State William H. Seward, who orchestrated the United States purchase of Alaska from the Russian Empire in 1867 while he was serving the position of Secretary of State under President Andrew Johnson. Seward is the southern terminus of the Alaskan Railroad and the historic starting point of the famous Iditarod Trail to interior Alaska, with mile 0 of the trail marked on the shoreline at the southern end of town, as you can see here in the sculpture. Now, the town hasn't changed much since we were here last back in 2012, and to me, with the way the world's changing, that's a good thing. We're not talking about climate change, just kind of the way it looks. So here I am Zillowing again, taking a little after-dinner stroll around the residential areas of Seward, and again, 2,200 hardy souls stick it out year-round before the population mushrooms during the tourist summer and the tourist season. So look at this beautiful homes, and what an epic place. Oh wow, we're back here at the Flamingo Lounge, which I think was called something else last time we were here, but we ate at this very funky place. I thought it was like called the Cosmopolitan, but as you can see, all the knickknacks and craziness, the idea of something called Flamingo in Alaska, well, that should tell you just how funky it is. Now, what an adventure this is. We are kayaking Resurrection Bay near Seward, Alaska with Carla, and we're in a kayak together. So, I don't know, try not to kill each other. Hopefully the marriage will survive intact. Now, why things are pretty tranquil here today on Resurrection Bay, 60 years ago in 1964, things were definitely not. 70-foot tsunamis virtually wiped out the city, and this was in the wake of the 9.2 Good Friday earthquake, which we talked about before. And though I kayak every weekend back in Florida and everywhere I go, I'm not going to lie, between the winds, the swells, and the cold, this wasn't long, but this was a workout. And we sparred a little bit, Carl and I, trying to get the kayak pointing the right direction without tipping over, because that wouldn't be fun. So we really appreciate our guide, Olivia from Adventure 60 North, and the team for making this truly memorable, and for us staying high and dry and not taking a swim. Seward Harbor in Resurrection Bay was rebuilt following that devastating 9.2 Good Friday earthquake, which destroyed this harbor with these 70 to 100 foot tsunamis that I keep talking about. And again, this is one of the most northern, if not the northernmost deep water ports in North America that doesn't freeze year round. It's a major cruise ship terminus for Alaska with 2 slips, and our cruise ship, the Celebrity Cruises Summit, is right there in the distance. But as you can see, the fishing fleet, the Coast Guard, and a pretty sizable sailing fleet dominates the port and the anchorage. So now we're just killing a little time walking around the wharf of Seward Harbor, where the seafood is served fresh from Resurrection Bay right to your belly. Yum, yum. Another look at Seward Harbor, a little higher view. 2 hours prior to departure from the Celebrity Cruises Summit. And we're standing on the high deck, so what a great vantage point for us as we begin our departure soon. Okay, that was just the beginning of our adventure. Tomorrow we're off on the big, fantastic part of the trip, our 7-day cruise down the inner passage of Alaska and the Panhandle, and that is something we've always wanted to do, and it will be my first time back in the Panhandle in about 30 years. So stay tuned for the next video series coming up, which is on the playlist. You'll see our Alaska cruise.